Nephilim, the true story of giants and fallen angels. Encoded in the Bible, imagine a world where colossal beings roam the land, with their imposing presence defying the laws of nature. Well, it might not sound so impossible if we look back at the stories of the Bible. In the shadows of the ancient times, where legends intertwine with reality, lies a captivating mystery, the Nephilim, an enigmatic race of giant beings. Who were these towering figures that walked the earth in a time long forgotten? How did they come to be? Were they fallen angels, as some ancient accounts suggest, or a unique race birthed from the mingling of heavenly and earthly bloodlines? Today, the lines of reality will blur with the extraordinary as we explore the mystery of these giants, called the Nephilim. Welcome to the new episode of Secret Origins. The Nephilim, often translated as giants in English, represent one of the most mystifying ensembles in biblical narratives. The first mention of the Nephilim is the book of Genesis 6:1-4, where it's stated that sons of God took daughters of men as their wives and had children with them. These offspring were known as the mighty men of old, men of renown, or in other words, the Nephilim. Some scholars interpret the sons of God as fallen angels who abandoned their heavenly domain and took human form, while others argue that they were either powerful human rulers or the godly descendants of Seth, intermarrying with the wicked descendants of Cain. So, did the existence of the Nephilim really shape the course of human history, leaving an indelible mark on ancient civilizations? In order to fully understand the story of the Nephilim, we need to delve into the origins of angels, for they play a crucial role in the genesis of the Nephilim. Angels and humans have distinctly different origin. They were created at different times and for different reasons, according to various scriptures. A subset of Satan's fallen angels deviated from their intended roles, choosing instead to materialize and interact with humans in ways that angels were not meant to do. This unusual and forbidden interaction is depicted in Genesis chapter 6, verses 1-4. The passage tells us, "Now, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took his wives, whomever they chose. So the Lord said, My spirit will not contend with man forever, for he is mortal. His days shall be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and afterward as well. The sons of God had relations with the daughters of men, and they bore them children who became the mighty men of old, men of renown." Here, the term sons of God is understood by many to refer to the fallen angels who, attracted to human women, chose to take them as wives. Their offspring were beings of significant size and power, known as the Nephilim, or the mighty men of old. These individuals were notably distinct in height and power from regular humans, but they were more than just physically imposing. Their lineage, which was a direct result of an unholy union between celestial and terrestrial beings, added a diabolical element to their nature. The presence of these unholy unions in their progeny was seen as such a severe corruption of God's creation that it resulted in the Great Flood, a divine punishment designed to cleanse the earth of all wickedness and start anew. The Book of Enoch also tells the story of the Nephilim, describing them as the children born through the crossbreeding between the Watchers, fallen angels, and the humans. According to the Book of Watchers, the Watchers are a group of angels who, led by Azazel and Shemiah, rebelled against God by descending to earth and teaching humans forbidden knowledge. The offspring of the Watchers and human women are the Nephilim, a race of giants who cause corruption and destruction on earth. This further provokes the wrath of Yahweh, and according to the Bible, the consequence of this mingling between the fallen and the mortals leads to the creation of half-angelic, half-human offspring. The Nephilim in the Book of Enoch are portrayed as giants and savages who threatened and plundered mankind, or, to put it in a more specific way, they were the giants and savages who threatened, in other words, supernatural, man-eating giants. Angered by what the fallen angels had done, those described in the Book of Enoch as mighty gods sent the Watchers to an underground prison deep within the bowels of the earth, and Enoch became the mediator between the gods and the imprisoned Watchers. But despite Enoch's intervention, God decided that because of what the planet has become, it and all its inhabitants must be punished, and the punishment was the Great Flood. It is said that the flood destroys the Nephilim and leaves the Watchers in their prison, while Enoch is taken to heaven in a chariot of fiery. The biblical accounts mention many tales of post-flood giant races and powerful nations in the land of Canaan. The Rephaim, also known as Anakites, or Avim, were a giant biblical people who lived during the time of Abraham. They inhabited both Palestine and Moab. These races instilled fear and wonder in the Israelites, but they also served as testaments to God's might and the Israelites' faith. In the book of Deuteronomy, it is said that the Amites used to live there, a people strong and numerous and as tall as the Anakites. Like the Anakites, they too were considered rapids, but the Moabites called them Amites. Deuteronomy 2.1 2.11, and then continues. Nod also was accounted a land of giants. Giants dwelt therein in old time, and the Ammonites called them Zamzamims. Deuteronomy 2.200g. The king of Bashan, famous Rephaim, was one of the last giants of his kind. He and his sons perished due to their opposition to God's people. What is noteworthy is the way his giant bed is described in the Bible. Og, king of Bashan, was the last of the Rephaims. His bed was decorated with iron and was more than 9 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. Deuteronomy 3.11. In Deuteronomy 31.4, God is mentioned bringing about the defeat of Sihon and Og and their lands, displaying his power to conquer formidable foes. Despite their immense size and strength, God gave the Israelite army victory over them. The book tells that the Israelites prepared to enter the promised land. Moses dispatched 12 spies to gather information about the land and its inhabitants. But the spies encountered descendants of the Anakites, the formidable race of giants who occupy the lands of southern Israel. Joshua and Caleb, two of the Israelite spies, described these beings as so large that they felt like grasshoppers by comparison. So they brought to the Israelites an unfavorable report of the land that they had spied out, saying, "The land that we have gone through as spies is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people that we saw in it are of great size. There we saw the Nephilim, the Anakites, come from the Nephilim, and to ourselves we seemed like grasshoppers, and so we seemed to them." So, despite the promises of God and the fruitful land they witnessed when seeing the giants, 10 of the 12 spies returned in fear, doubting God's promise due to the intimidating stature of the inhabitants. Only Caleb and Joshua retained their faith and urged the Israelites to conquer the land, acknowledging the obstacles but firm in their belief that with God, victory was certain. As Joshua and his army overcame the Anakites and took possession of their land, the descendants of Anak were among the last giants to be defeated by the Israelites. Another story of a giant, perhaps the most famous ancient giant from the Bible, is the legendary Goliath. In Kings 17.4, it is said, "A champion named Goliath, who was from Gath, came out of the Philistine camp. His height was 6 cubits and a span. He had a bronze helmet on his head and wore a coat of scale armor of bronze weighing 5,000 shekels. On his legs he wore bronze greaves, and a bronze javelin was slung on his back." Giants such as Goliath and his brothers re-emerge in later accounts, challenging the Israelites. Goliath from the Philistine camp was a renowned giant who stood at least 9 feet 9 inches tall. His impressive size, combined with his formidable armor and weaponry, made him a terrifying opponent. However, David's unwavering faith in God empowered him to defeat Goliath and bring glory to God's name. The story of David and Goliath. Goliath is one of the most captivating tales in biblical literature, told and retold countless times throughout the ages, and often used as a metaphor to describe the triumph of the underdog over a formidable opponent. This passage, from the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17, meticulously narrates this timeless episode. Goliath, a towering Philistine warrior, emerged from the ranks and issued a brazen challenge to the Israelites. The strategy he proposed was a common one in Eastern civilizations, known as representative combat. This tactic involved a 1-on-1 battle where the representative of one army would fight the representative of the other, the victor determining the outcome for the entire army. It was an attempt to minimize bloodshed, where the victor claimed victory not just for themselves, but for the entire army, while the whole army of the losing side faced defeat. Goliath, believing himself the superior warrior, offered to represent the Philistine army. Goliath's challenge was not a one-off event. He reiterated his challenge for 40 days, striding forward each morning and evening, showcasing his intimidating size and strength. This act was not just a test of his physical might, but also a psychological strategy aimed at instilling fear and demoralizing the Israelites. However, far away in the Judean mountains, a young boy named David, oblivious to the ongoing conflict, was busy tending to his father's sheep. David was too young to enlist in the army and was possibly unaware of the Philistine menace. His primary concern was the well-being of his elder brothers, who were serving in Saul's army. As his father, Jesse, was growing older and couldn't make the long journey to check on his sons, he sent David to deliver food to his brothers and get news of their well-being. As David approached the Israelite camp, he found himself amid preparations for battle. He decided to greet his brothers on the front lines. However, as he was talking with them, he heard Goliath, the Philistine champion, issuing his defiant challenge. It was a shock to David, as he had never heard of such a challenge before. David, enraged by the Philistine's audacity, questioned his brothers about the rewards for killing Goliath and removing the reproach from Israel. King Saul, hearing about David's resolve, summoned him. David assured Saul stating that just as he had protected his father's sheep from lions and bears, he would defeat Goliath. He believed that the Lord, who had saved him from the paws of the lion and the bear, would deliver him from Goliath as well. Saul, moved by David's courage and faith, blessed him, saying, "Go, and the Lord be with you." For the impending battle, Saul dressed David in his armor. But the inexperienced David couldn't maneuver in it, and chose to wear his shepherd's attire instead. His only weapons were his sling, his staff, and 5 smooth stones he picked from a stream. Thus David, in his most basic shepherd garb, was ready to face the colossal Goliath. Their confrontation was intense. Goliath, dressed in heavy armor, despised David, seeing him as nothing more than a young boy with a stick. He cursed David by his gods, vowing to feed his flesh to the birds and wild animals. But David remained unfazed. His faith in the Lord was unwavering, and he declared that while Goliath came at him with weapons, he came in the name of the Lord. David struck Goliath on the forehead with a stone from his sling, causing the giant to fall face down, unconscious. David then seized Goliath's own sword and beheaded him. Witnessing the defeat of their champion, the Philistines fled in fear. This monumental victory against the Philistines was a turning point for the Israelites. It solidified their faith in God and transformed David into a national hero. What is more, it also served as a precursor to David's subsequent reign as a king of Israel, where he brought peace and prosperity to the nation. But what were the origins of Goliath, who was traditionally described as a giant? Was he an Nephilim, or a descendant of the ancient Rephites, or Anakim races, known for their great size? Some scientists suggest that Goliath was not a real giant, but had a hereditary gigantism, a condition passed down through his family tree. But whether Goliath was a literal giant due to genetic predisposition, or a metaphorical giant, symbolizing formidable challenges, his defeat by David represented the triumph of faith over seemingly unbeatable foes. Later in the Bible, in the books of Samuel and Chronicles, David and his men confronted other giants, relatives of Goliath, further solidifying David's reputation as a giant slayer. The battles against these giants showcase not only David's physical and spiritual strength, but also his ability to inspire his followers. These tales reinforce the importance of courage, trust in God, and unity in the face of adversity. While our understanding of the Nephilim, the fallen angels and the giants of the Old Testament, is still limited and subject to interpretation, their presence adds a complex layer of intrigue to the biblical narrative. Are the Nephilim really the remnants of a lost era, a testament to a time when supernatural beings walked among mortals? Or are they symbolic representations of profound spiritual truths, hidden in metaphorical stories? The story of the Nephilim, entwined with tales of rebellious angels, divine wrath, and resilient human faith, reflects the intricate complexity of divine and human interactions. It reveals a celestial battle waged against the forces of darkness, played out on the mortal stage. The tale of David and Goliath also serves as a powerful metaphor for the challenges we encounter in life. It symbolizes the daunting obstacles that may seem impossible to overcome. However, this story reminds us that with unwavering determination, no problem is too large to tackle. It teaches us to stay resolute in our pursuit, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable difficulties, and to trust in our inner strength and wisdom to guide us. Like the age-old wisdom suggests, have faith in yourself and embrace the journey ahead. Stay true to your path, and success will follow. The Nephilim, these ancient giants, and their celestial origins, probably will leave us with more questions than answers. But while the true nature and existence of the Nephilim remain shrouded in myth and legend, their story serves as a testament to the enduring power of ancient narratives and the human quest to understand our origins. We bow before you, and thank you for watching another episode of Secret Origins. Keep your minds open, and until we meet again.